Erev Tov Rabotai, we are continuing with our Mishna Yomi, Masechet Batra. We are up to Perek Dalad Mishna Hey. Today's Mishnayot should be Le'elu Nishmat Neria ben Svetlana Ranbai Veliyahu ben Burchai Israelov Chana ben Miriam Sason ben Ryan Yoshua ben Shifra Menuchatam beGan Eden Amen and Avdi ben Chaim lechaim v'derefua shelemav Daniel Shalom ben Rosa betoch Shachol Israel and Achlama Mera Binyamin Od Zion Chai ben Dvorah. The previous Mishnah mentioned two properties that are not sold along with the courtyard because of their significance, a bathhouse and an olive press. The next two Mishnayot discuss sales of those properties and what is included in each sale. This Mishnah, Mishnah Hey, talks about the sale of an olive press. Now, an olive press was usually located inside a building. For this reason, it is called a Bet Habad, which literally means house of the press. One who sells an olive press certainly sells the building that houses the press too. The Mishnah discusses which parts of the machinery within the house are sold as well. Now, to understand the Mishnah properly, the following introduction is necessary. Olives were processed into oil by first being crushed in a mortar-like device and then being pressed in the olive itself. While there were several designs of the machine used to press the olives, all of them operated in a similar way. The crushed olives were placed in a vat and covered with boards. A large heavy beam called a kolah was suspended over the vat by poles that stood on either side, and the beam was lowered onto the boards by means of either a screw or a gear system. The beam would exert pressure onto the boards, pressing the olives and squeezing out the oil. Now the Mishnah begins, Hamocheret bet habad, if someone sells an olive press, Macharat hayam, he has sold the stone vat that holds the olives during pressing, Vet hamamal, and the mamal, which is a stone that is used to crush the olives in the mortar before they are placed into the press, Veta bitulot, and the poles that hold up the beam that is lowered upon the olives when they are pressed. The vat and poles are fixed to the ground of the olive press building, and they are therefore included in the sale. The mamal was considered an essential part of the olive press, and it would not usually be taken from one press to another. Therefore, it too is included in the sale, even though it was not fixed to the ground. The Mishnah now lists items that are not included in the sale of the olive press. Avalo macharet ta'achirin, but he has not sold the boards that are placed on top of the olives in the vat. These boards would distribute the weight of the koah evenly onto all of the olives in the vat. Veta galgal, nor has he sold the wheel that is used to raise and lower the beam onto the olives. Veta koah, nor has he sold the beam itself. Although all of these things are used during the pressing process, they are not attached to the ground, and so they are not included in the sale, because the seller can easily take them and use them in another press. Bisman shamar lohu v'chol ma shebetocho. But if the seller said to the buyer, I am selling you the olive press and everything that is inside it, then all of these are sold. Even in this case, however, items such as barrels to hold the pressed oil not included in the sale, even if they are located in the pressing house at the time of the sale. The Mishnah cites an opposing view with regard to one of the items listed. Rabbi Eliezer says, Hamocher bet habad macharet hakorah. If someone sells an olive press, he has always sold the beam, for it is the most important part of the press. Some olive presses do not use boards, and others do not use screws to raise and lower the beam, but there is no such thing as an olive press without a kolah. Rabbi Eliezer therefore holds that the kolah is always included in the sale, because the olive press is virtually useless without it. And that is that of Mishnah Hey. Mishnah Vav now discusses the second structure that was excluded from the standard sale of a courtyard, a bathhouse. This Mishnah explains what is included when the bathhouse itself is being sold. If someone sells a bathhouse, he has not sold the boards upon which the bathers would place their clothes. Alternatively, it refers to boards that were placed upon the stone floor of the bathhouse to protect the bathers from the heat of the floor itself. Veta Sabsalim, nor has he sold the benches upon which the bathers would sit. Veta Vilaot. Now before we move on, actually the Rav explains another text of the Mishnah, reads Sifalim, which refers to jugs that would be used by the bathers to hold water for washing. Veta Vilaot, nor has he sold the curtains that are placed across the doorway to the bathhouse to provide privacy. Alternatively, this refers to towels that the bathers would use to dry themselves, or as wraps for modesty, as they sat in the bathhouse. These items are all movable and not part of the bathhouse itself. They are therefore not included in the sale. Bisman shamar lohu v'chol ma shebetocho. But if the seller said to the buyer, I am selling you the bathhouse and everything that is inside it, then all of these items are sold as well. This language includes even the movable items that are used by the bathers. However, as the Mishnah will explain, only items that are reserved exclusively for use in the bathhouse are included by this clause. The Mishnah now lists things that are not included in the sale, even if this clause is added, benkach ubenkach, whether the seller said and everything that is inside it or not, lo machar lo et megurot shel mayim, he has sold neither the reservoirs of water that supply the bathhouse, velo et otzarot shel etzim, nor has he sold the storehouses of wood that are used to fuel the fires that heat the water. These items are not reserved for the bathhouse, and they therefore are not included in the sale. And that is on Abotai of today's Mishna Yomi. Baruch Adonai Leolam. Amen v'amen.